Jenny, do welcome to the 12th Forum for the Future of Agriculture, and looking at the new generation and new perspectives of the stage you shared with a first generation farmer, Tileri, and you have been talking about Peel Sciences. You are the co-founder and vice president, and you've been giving us a sense of insights into innovation and technology and how that can aid food security and prevent food waste. It's a big part of the problem. You can be a big part of the solution, right?
Yeah, that's what we're hopeful of. I think, we've heard here that there's so many different people who play a role, so many stakeholders who have to play a role in making this successful or moving this really forward. And so we do see that technology is just one element to that overall equation. And we hope that we can offer some really valuable tools to move our shared objectives forward.
Unless the environment is protected, and we look at waste as being an important part of that, we're not going to feed a growing population, are we? And we think about how much waste there is. I think you had a stat that 40% of the food that we produce never gets consumed. Explain your solution.
So I think so much has been focused up until now on the pre-harvest side of food production. And exactly to your point, so much of it is thrown away after it comes out of the ground. So from our perspective, we're looking at how do plants protect themselves currently? And so the premise there is through the formation of a peel or a skin that all plants have. And so at Appeal Sciences, what we're really looking to do is to look to nature for those same inspirations and trying to find a way to translate them into our consumer world. And so with that, using materials that are found in all the plants that we already eat, repurposing them on the surface of fresh produce to create an edible coating that helps to lock in moisture but also reduce exposure to the environment, oxidation in the environment, as a way of extending shelf life.
How important is it to look to nature to provide solutions like this?
Yeah, I think so many of our challenges that we have in our hands today have come from maybe not taking into account what a sustainable solution really means, and finding the right balance between the use of our resources from not just when we pull them out of the ground but all the way through to end of life. And so for us, I think nature really, we believe, is our greatest inventor. And so there's a lot of things that we can look to her for inspiration, and now looking for the opportunity to translate those into technologies.
It sounds like the fact that you can prolong the shelf life of asparagus is going to help some people, but not everyone, when we think about the issues of global poverty and hunger that we see.
Yeah. I think asparagus may be specific and unique to that channel, but I think the lessons that we've learned from asparagus we see as translating to the crop type that's unique to a farmer wherever they may be. They'll have their version of asparagus. So whether it's that if you're a mango farmer, for example, in Kenya, and all of your neighbors also grow mangoes because it's a great mango growing region, there's no opportunity for you to trade with your neighbors to get any economic value from your labor. And so really it's about, in the asparagus example, it's like, how do you connect the producers of that wonderful food really to the market?
And I know you talked to the forum today about the fact that if you're tackling food waste, there are environmental, economic and social benefits.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when we think about back to the the smallholder farmer example, what does it mean for them to earn truly an economic return for their labor? What does that enable from being able to uplift a quality of life and the opportunities that might be able to afford? And so we see that currently in the chain where, and many of the other panelists have spoken about it, where a lot of the cost and the pressure often funnels its way back down to the farmer. And so I think in this case, being able to help their amazing products that we all need make their way all the way through the chain and have different players along the chain being able to win as part of that, kind of the saying that all the rising tide will lift all ships.
And it's very interesting hearing about the next generation of science and people like you who are making it not just an entrepreneurial and small idea, but it's a big, invested, well, commercial idea, and that's important, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, again, to some of the things that have been echoed also by some of the other speakers, the solutions, as wonderful as some of them may be, if it's only fueled on ideology, it's really hard for it to be a sticky solution that's going to sustain itself and continue to grow. And so I think the economic side of it is a really important part, because if it's not possible for folks to make a living wage or more off of what they're doing, it's really going to be hard for them to commit to that solution in the long term.
Jenny, good luck with it. Thank you very much for talking to the forum today.
Thanks. Thank you for the opportunity.